Good evening, baseball fans. Welcome to some playoff baseball streaming. The Phillies have just defeated the Marlins in Game 1 of the wild card. The Twins finally win a playoff game. It took about 80 years, but they did it. Jordan Montgomery looked fantastic today. The Diamondbacks stealing a game on the road. How we doing, everyone? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live. The game just ended in Philly. Main takeaway right off the bat, Zach Wheeler looked absolutely fantastic today. Looked like he was laboring there a little bit at the end, but wow, he looked fantastic. I will say this right off the bat. If Philly pitches like that this postseason, or even close to that, I think they go back to the World Series. I know I made my predictions. I did my bracket yesterday. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. They're probably all going to be wrong. What can I say? But the one thing with Philly, man, we all saw it last year. They got an incredible 1-2 punch with Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. Say what you will about Aaron Nola and his struggles this year, but Aaron Nola is still Aaron Nola. He still has a track record. Looked a lot better down the last couple of weeks of the season. He put together some good starts there. Zach Wheeler has been pretty much solid all year. If those two have it going on, I think they absolutely have a chance to get back to this World Series. I know that might sound like I'm just getting a little far-fetched just because of one win. I mean, we still have 2 more wins here, but I'm just saying, if they pitch like that, they'd be really tough to beat, especially with that lineup. They could absolutely go toe-to-toe with the Braves. I mean, whoever they run into in the championship round, if they make it that far. The Phillies looked impressive tonight. Just a good, solid win all around. I thought maybe the Marlins could have done something there in the end. Real quick, let me actually pull up the box scores here. Everyone, if you can, hit that like button for me while I'm getting everything ready. We are live after the game. Every game is now complete, so we will be reacting to each game tonight. If you are here and you are able to hit that like button, please hit that like button for me. That's going to really help us out with the algorithm. Subscribe if you are new. Hit the bell notification. That way you know I'm live every single time. I'm going to be going live pretty much after every single night, or after all the games are complete every single night. And everyone, if you can, share the show for us. That would be greatly appreciated. But let's get to the box scores here. I'm going to talk about this Phillies-Marlins game first off, so let's get to it here. I do want to just go over one little bug that's going to be coming up on my scoreboard here. I'm trying to get this fixed with the guy that actually works on all of this. The hits and the runs are backwards. So if you take a look here, where you see the runs, that is actually supposed to be the hits. So there's a bit of an error in the programming there. I apologize for that. So just tonight, just try and pretend that the runs are the hits. But overall, I mean, the Phillies just played a solid game tonight. Turner, I mean, this is a guy who got off to such a bad start this year, man. Got the standing ovation, and here he is, playoff baseball. This is where it matters at the end of the day. Yeah, he absolutely tore it up down the second half, but this is where it counts. This is where Phillies fans are going to love you forever. If you perform well in the postseason, that's what matters for Phillies fans. And, of course, all teams in the playoffs, but especially the Philly fans. But Turner, he looked good tonight, went 2 for 3. Castellanos had himself a pretty good game here. In the end, Alec Boehm started things off with a double. Bryson Stott added on. Pache added on. What a great pickup Pache has been. He got hurt there a little bit ago. But he has actually been really solid for the Phillies. Great pickup. And then Castellanos in the 8th there, adding on a double. I thought the Marlins, they had a couple of rallies going there. Josh Bell, a good game for Josh Bell tonight. He had 3 hits tonight. He scored a run. De La Cruz, he had the RBI there in the 7th, had on the ground ball. But the Marlins just couldn't get anything going. Zach Wheeler was just unhittable. Alvarado came in after him, shut down Uligiri out there, so that killed that rally. Kimbrel getting the save. Every time Craig Kimbrel comes into the game, it always gives me a heart attack. Even when he's not in a Red Sox uniform, still gives me a heart attack every single time. But overall, great game for the Phillies here tonight. What else could you ask for? Just a complete overall solid game, coming up with the timely hits, great pitching. This is what you need. This is what you need in the postseason. This is it. Great pitching. Zach Wheeler getting the Phillies off to a great start. I did pick the Marlins in this series. I'm thinking, hey, the Marlins, they have played the Phillies hard this year, and they played the Phillies hard tonight. Could end up just being that they play a competitive series and, they end up just dropping out in 2 games. Yeah, I think that's possible. With brackets, let's be real here. None of us can predict what's going to happen, but for me, I always try to find a balance with my brackets, whether, that's picking some safe picks, maybe throwing in a couple chaos picks in there as well. So I figured, with the Marlins, they have a shot, especially being a division rival, going 7-6 against the Phillies this year. And they had success against the Phillies pitching this year. Zach Wheeler, he had a couple of no decisions against the Marlins this year. We'll have to see how Nola does. I think that's the key. Zach Wheeler, you expect Wheeler to get the win. But Nola is going to be huge tomorrow. That's going to be a big game tomorrow. But Nola, again, like I said, he has been performing well. So let's see what happens there. Luzardo, I feel like he was solid for the most part. He ran into some trouble there, in the 3rd and 4th innings. I feel like he didn't look completely terrible tonight. So let's actually go here to the pitching matchups. I got StatCast pulled up. Everyone, thank you for joining tonight. We are here post-game, and we're talking all of the games that happened here tonight. So let's get the music ready. Here we go. And everyone, again, thank you for stopping by. This is your number 1 spot for all of your postseason needs. But let's get to what happened here with the pitching. So got StatCast pulled up here. Trey Turner, man, he was really hitting the ball well tonight. A lot of exit velocity from him tonight. Jake Berger. How about Jake Berger running one out there? There's a ground ball over the first. Man, Jake Berger, he just does it all, man. He just does it all. But he had a hard hit ball tonight. Schwarber as well. But Bell, hey, give Bell a lot of credit. But getting here to the box score, again, with Luzardo, I thought he looked pretty good at times, but in the end, you got to go more than 4 innings. He was just very hittable tonight. I don't think he looked terrible tonight, but again, as you can see here, a lot of hard hit balls off of him. So he's got to figure this out. If the Marlins are able to somehow get past this round, he's going to have to figure this out. Overall, Marlins bullpen did look really good tonight coming in. I thought Brazaban looked really solid there when he came in. But in the end, the star of the show was Zach Wheeler. Alvarado, like I mentioned, he came in, just shut down that rally. And in the end, it is what it is. But overall, I think for tomorrow, if we were to go to the odds on Fangraphs, they did give a huge edge to Zach Wheeler tonight, so I'm not surprised. Zach Wheeler, at the end of the day, is one of the best pitchers in the game. I think Braxton Garrett is an underrated guy. I can see the Marlins. Again, we don't know what you're going to get with Nola. He's been so up and down this year. So lately he's been good, but are we going to go through another down with Aaron Nola? We'll have to wait and see. But I think Braxton Garrett, don't sleep on him. This is a guy I think has had a pretty solid, underrated year. Let's see what he can do tomorrow, but they're going to need a big start from him. So we'll have to just wait and see on that. I mean, if we were to go to Braxton Garrett's numbers this year, overall, I just think, I don't know, he's just not really looked at very much. When you think of the Marlins pitching, you think of Luzardo, you think of Alcantara, you think of Uri Perez. Braxton Garrett, I think, has been really solid. 30 starts this year, 3.68 ERA. He's going to be a guy that's going to really focus a lot more on the off-speed pitches. He's not going to blow you away with a fastball, but I think with Garrett, I think there's a possibility he could turn in a good start tomorrow. So let's actually go to the splits tool. Let's see how he has done against the Phillies this year. And, very easy here on Fangraphs. They actually have a very nice setup. You can go see how he has done against the Phillies this year. So, overall, the ERA is not promising. A 5.40 ERA over 2 games. The Phillies have hit 286 against him 333 on base, 452 slugging, so that's not great. However, the FIP is a little bit more promising at a 3.86. So, it is a small sample size at the end of the day, so I'm not sure how much you can really put into that. But, I think it's possible he could end up doing something okay. But let's go to Nola. Let's see how he has done. There was one start earlier on. Let's actually go to his game log. I think he just pitched against the Marlins pretty recently. We got a super chat coming in, $1.99 from Jacob Toon. He says, ha, 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 raise up. We'll get to the raising just a little bit. Man, I got some thoughts on that, man. I got some thoughts. Jacob Toon, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate that. But let's go to the game log here. So Nola, like I said, he did pitch against Miami recently, actually just about a month ago. 4 1/3. He gave up 4 earned runs, 7 hits. So that is pretty recent, so maybe that could go in the Marlins' favor. If we go back earlier on in the season, going back to July, he went 6 innings, 8 hits, gave up 4 earned runs. So not a lot of success against the Marlins. Go back to early on in the season, go to April, 5 2/3, 9 hits, 4 runs. So it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. If I were to go with a pick here, Nola, like I said, he has been a lot better lately. If you look at the last few starts, he looked great against Pittsburgh, looked pretty solid against the Braves with that lineup. The Cardinals got some decent bats there, but I'm a little weary where, these couple of starts here, he went into the 5th inning. He's going to need to go deep, I'm not saying they got to preserve the bullpen, but, you want your starter to go deeper into the games. If you can get 6 innings, 2-3 runs out of him, I think that's a good day for Aaron Nola, especially with how up and down he's been. I got to stick with my pick here. I did pick the Marlins in this one. I'm going to ride it. I'm going to say Marlins come out with a win tomorrow. Is that more so because I picked them in this series to get the complete upset? Maybe, probably. But hey, I'm going to ride with it. I'll go Marlins game 2 tomorrow, but would not be surprised at all to see Nola just turn in a dandy of a game tomorrow. So shifting over here, let's go over to a game earlier today. And we had finally a win for the Minnesota Twins. Now, I will say this. I want the Twins to win a game in the division round. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Twins do something in the division round, right? We just recently got these wild card playoffs expanded. I want to see the Twins do something in the best of 5. That's what I really want. But they did look really good here today. Obviously, the star of the show, Royce Lewis today, man. This is a guy, I got to say, I am so happy for Royce Lewis. This was a guy who, remember, he was the number 1 pick, right? Back in, 2017, 2018, can't remember the year exactly. Highly touted prospect, comes up, he's not really doing very well in the minor leagues. Then he finally starts having some success. Remember, he also had the knee injury, and then he comes back, starts having some success. Then he gets himself hurt again, and it's like you fell for the guy at the time. And here we are, postseason baseball, where it matters most, and just what a day. This is what the postseason does. It creates legends, right? Let's say the Twins go on a run, and maybe they somehow shock everyone, go deep into these playoffs. Everyone's going to think back to this Royce Lewis performance. Could this be the start of something? Could this be the beginning of a run for Royce Lewis? I will say this, the Twins' bats are going to be key. All right, we know they have the pitching. They absolutely got the pitching. You got Pablo Lopez here. We'll talk about him in just a second. But Sonny Gray, all right, you got him too, right? You got Ryan, you got Maeda. They got some good pitching there. The one problem with the Twins that I noticed is that they haven't, in the second half, they didn't necessarily have amazing results against the better teams in the second half. So that is one thing to be, concerned with. But with Pablo Lopez today, he had to battle a little bit. He wasn't exactly, just cruising through this game today. He did run into some trouble at times, but in the end, he was able to work around pretty much everything the Blue Jays tried to throw at him. He went 5 2/3, 5 hits allowed, couple of walks. Not a dominant performance by any means. Gave up a lot of hard hit balls today. Gausman actually gave up less hard hits than him. But, Pablo Lopez, I just liked the demeanor that he had on him today. Just really battled out there. It's a tough lineup with the Blue Jays. This is not easy. I mean, look at Vlad Jr. today. 3 hard hit balls, Springer as well. So the Blue Jays, they were swinging here. In the end, Pablo Lopez, give him a lot of respect. He just pitched today. And, hey, in the end, I loved this move for the Twins when they finally they got a guy for the top of that rotation. Did have to give up Luis Ariz, but look how great that trade has been. And Pablo Lopez coming away with the win today. Bullpen getting the job done. Royce Lewis pretty much carried the offense. But I think this is what the Twins are they're gonna need this. I think they were hot with the offense in the last month, right? Second half, they were a much better offense. They had some injury concerns coming into this, with Royce Lewis, so I'm glad he's feeling good. Buxton as well. So they're going to need guys to step up like this, and you always need someone to step up for you. And Lewis was that guy today. As for the Blue Jays, Gausman obviously having that trouble against Lewis. He just couldn't figure him out. But the Blue Jays bats, they got to do more here, right? The Blue Jays have always had problems this season with runners in scoring position. They're very up and down in that area. Sometimes they come through, and then there's a lot of times they don't. Blue Jays fans, I think you'll agree with me on that. Today, that was a problem, all right? They just couldn't get anything going. They were getting the hard hits. They were getting the guys on base. They just couldn't come through. I mean, Bichette had himself a good game today, 2 for 4. But look at Springer, 0 for 5 out of the leadoff spot. Belt in the 2-hole, not getting anything done. That's going to kill you. If you got your 2 top guys in the lineup not doing anything for you, I mean, you're going to ruin a lot of your chances, man. So they're going to have to come out into the next game. They're going to have to step this up. So, going over here right now, Fangraphs, this actually did update, but Fangraphs actually gave a higher % chance for the Blue Jays, and now that has shifted incredibly to the Twins. But this is going to be a very interesting matchup tomorrow. Jose Barrios, Sonny Gray. I think this is actually a really solid matchup. I like this a lot. Gray, he's been underrated this year. He's been such a great pitcher this year, man. I mean, look at these numbers with Sonny Gray. I think the one thing with Gray, he always has like the stigma about him. Remember, everyone I think thinks back to when he went to the Yankees and he just kind of turned into a shell of himself, and it was kind of like, can he handle that big stage? I'm excited to see what he can do tomorrow. This is a guy, he's not that same guy when he was with the Yankees, right? Kind of just stunk up the joint over there. He's turned into one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. He almost had 200 innings this year, 2.79 ERA, a 2.83 FIP, almost right around 9 strikeouts per 9. The guy does not give up the home run ball, so I think that definitely goes in his favor for tomorrow. I'm excited for Sonny Gray, man. If we were to take a look at some of the last couple of starts that he's had, I'm not sure if he's pitched against the Blue Jays this year. If I were to kind of run through, actually, no, he did have a start in Toronto. He went 5 innings, 5 hits, had an earned run, but that's just the only start he had. But going into the postseason, I mean, look at these starts that he was putting together. Yeah, sure, Oakland, you got the Angels, the White Sox, but he has had some success against some good teams. The Rangers with their offense, they were slumping at around that time, so that's something to take note of. He pitched well against Philly back in August, 6 innings, 2 hits allowed. So I really like Sonny Gray here for tomorrow. I think this is the kind of guy you want in the postseason, in my opinion. When it comes to his stuff, I like Sonny Gray. Guy misses a lot of bats. I think he could be a huge piece for the Twins if they were to make a run. And Jose Barrios, this is a guy, he's always up and down in his career, and he's having an up year. So, solid starts, just under 200 innings as well. 3.65 ERA, the 3.99 FIP. Taking a look at some of his last few starts, he has had some trouble. 2 starts against the Yankees there back-to-back. He did have 10 Ks. What was it, about a week ago against the Yankees? He did pitch well against my Red Sox. I think overall what you can expect from Barrios I could see, 5-6 innings from him. It's really going to depend on, will the Twins step up here? Will they get a guy that's just going to come through for them like Royce Lewis did? Could he come through again? We'll have to wait and see here. My money right now tomorrow, I mean, you would imagine that the Blue Jays here, they're going to find a way to get this win, but I don't know, man. It just feels flat. That crowd was hot today, man. Absolutely hot crowd with the Twins. That was fantastic. Man, I love that. I love when the fans show up for the playoff games. I mean, hey, people will have their opinions about Philly fans, how they're just raucous and they're just over the top sometimes, but I love watching Phillies games in the postseason. Say what you will, but everyone's waving the white flag, the white towels. It looks awesome in Philly, man. Those people love their Phillies. Philly fans, I got a lot of respect for because they're passionate about their team. Every time you watch a Phillies postseason game, the stadium's full, everyone's loud, everyone's on their feet. And the Twins, that fan base today really showed up. They look great. Man, that's the support that you need for your team. So I think there's going to be a lot of energy there tomorrow. I'm excited. What else I thought about here? Is it just me? I'm going to have to research this. I'm going to have to look into this. Teams that update their jerseys, is it me or do they always tend to do pretty well? Is that maybe I'm overreacting? It's just one game, right? It's just one game, but has anyone noticed that in the past? I always think back to the Rays back in 2008. They updated their jerseys, and there's just something different about the team, right? That all of a sudden the Rays went from not doing anything to getting to a World Series after they changed their name and their jerseys and everything. I'm just saying. Hey, look at the Twins. New jerseys this year, and they got some energy. So, Jimmy Productions, $1.99. I like the old MLB wild card better. Yeah. I think there was a bit more suspense when it came to that, but I don't know. I feel like with the expanded playoffs, I see the pros and cons, right? I see how adding some more teams, it gives some more energy, right? I do like the wild card round. I was in favor at one point of the 2 wild card teams and making it a best of 3, and then they decided, to expand it and make it a best of 3. So, I was kind of in the middle there. In the end, it is what it is. I did like the 1 wild card game. I would have preferred a 3-game series with the old wild card. But hey, I see what you're saying, though. In the end, though, hey, more exposure for these players at the end of the day. I can't argue against it. Can't argue. So, moving on here, but just kind of wrapping up the Blue Jays and the Twins. Hey, tomorrow, if I were to go with a pick, right now I'm liking how the Twins are looking. I really do. I really like how there's just some energy there, right? I like how the fans are showing up. They're going to show up again tomorrow. Sonny Gray's been awesome this year. I do want the Twins to really get some more offense going, right? You had Lewis today. Without him, though, you didn't have much going. We could have seen maybe, who knows? Probably could have seen a 1-0 Blue Jays win. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'll go with the Twins tomorrow. I did pick the Twins in this series. I just really like the pitching they have. I'll go Twins sweeping this. The Blue Jays, they're really going to have to come through with runners in scoring position. If they can't do that, they're done. They're done. I mean, Barrios, I don't trust Barrios to give me 7 innings, 7 shutout innings. I just don't trust him to do that. I think you're always going to be seeing him probably giving up a few runs, and the Blue Jays, if they can't show up in those tough spots, I think they're done. We got a super chat here. Jacob Toon. I like the expanded teams, but I wish it was single elimination games still. I could see that. But then again, it's like I almost don't like the single elimination because I feel like, I don't know, like, 'cause I just feel like you've battled all year. I understand, yeah, that gives you more incentive to win the division, but it's like if you're going to do it, at least give them a few games to kind of just, work it out. Give it 3 games, right? See that way you see who the true winner is. Right? And then I also think it provides strategy too, right? Going into the next round, into the divisional round. I feel like if it's a one game, then you're preserving more of your pitching. And I feel like for the wild card round, that again, getting back to the incentive of winning your division, right? So you get the wild card round, it's a best of 3, but now you're gonna be losing a guy for the next round, right? So in a way, I can appreciate that it is forcing teams to be more strategic with their starting pitching matchups. So here we go. Let's move on here. Let's move on. Let's talk about, speaking of fans. We got to talk the Rays and the Rangers right now. What happened here today with Tropicana Field? Listen, you all know I live in Florida. I've been to Tropicana Field many times, countless times. Just went earlier in September, saw the Red Sox beat the Rays. Only game they won of that series. Tristan Casas was awesome. But Tropicana Field, man, listen, I understand they've had trouble bringing people to the games. I get it, right? But this was embarrassing today. This was not good here today. And I'm going to pull up the video here just to give you an idea. If you did not see the crowd today with the Rays, it's bad, right? It's just bad. So let me go here, sharing the screen. I mean, just look at this. This is awful. I mean, this is awful. Like, look at this. This is a playoff game. I know these seats, right? And I've seen these seats full at times. So I've seen, many Red Sox games here. I bet you of the Red Sox. I just went to the Red Sox Rays a couple of years ago in the playoffs. This place was definitely more full. I get it. It's the wild card round. The Rangers, the Rangers, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to, bash on the Rangers here, but they're not the Yankees. They're not the Dodgers, right? There's not Shohei Ohtani in town. Great team, but they're not going to draw the headlines, right? So, yeah, you're going to get more people for those kind of games, especially when the Yankees and the Red Sox come into town. You're definitely going to get that. Those games are always pretty full for the most part. But this is a playoff game. I'm sorry. I'm seeing a lot of people argue here. Jimmy Productions with a super chat. I'll just get to that in 1 second, Jimmy. I just want to close this thought. People have been, arguing today, making arguments. I think most people will agree that this is pretty sad. But I'm seeing a lot of people today saying, the game was in the middle of the afternoon. People are working. People are busy. Get out of here with that argument. Get out of here. The Twins had so many people at their game today. Hey, stop. Like, you got to stop with that argument, man. Like, so the people are at work. Yeah, I understand people are at work. I get it. Well, people are at work in Minnesota, too. People are at work when it comes to all these other games in the afternoon over the years. Thousands of playoff games have been played in the daytime, even earlier than the game here today. Like, you've seen how many playoff games, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm sorry, but there's no excuse for this. I get it. People work, but I don't know. I get it. It's, sometimes it's hard to take a day off. I get it. But when you see these other fan bases filling up their stadiums like the Twins today, who also had a day game today, there's no excuse here. And to me, the fact that you're opening a stadium again in St. Petersburg, I don't know, man. Like, I'm I'm worried. Let's see if the Rays can get past this. Let's see what it looks like in the divisional round. But I don't know, man. I'm not trying to harp on the Rays. I'm not trying to get on to, the Rays fans and, whatever. This is embarrassing. I'm sorry. This is a playoff game. People got to go, man. If I lived closer, I'll tell you this right now. If I lived closer and I was a Rays fan, I'm a Red Sox fan. So if my Red Sox were, I'll say this, if my Red Sox were here, I'll probably go into the game, right? I might not go to all 3, right? Let's say it ends up being a 3-game series, I'll probably go to 1. I'm taking the day off of work. Sorry. Tell my boss, hey, I got some stuff to do. I'm not going to be able to make it today. that's just me. But as for the game, I'm going to get to these super chats in just a second. I do appreciate the super chats. But let's get to the box score here today. The Rays, very sloppy today. Very, very sloppy today. Very uncharacteristic of the Rays. A lot of errors here today. They did not field the ball well. Now, they're not the best defensive team out there in the major leagues this year, but they're not bad either. They're kind of middle of the road. They ranked 15th in Fangraph defense this year. But they really blew this one today. I mean, they had none of their bats stepping up. Montgomery, he just shoved today. Montgomery looked fantastic. What a great pickup. What a great pickup there. Rangers, man, yeah, say what you will about Scherzer, but, man, Montgomery really came through here today. He pitched a dandy. But the Rangers, in the end, they came through with the bats. This is what you know with the Rangers. They got bats, and this is a dangerous lineup. If there's one team that can slug their way to the World Series, it is this Rangers team. At the end of the day, we'll have to see how Eovaldi does. Eovaldi has just been horrible lately. Whoever they have going for 3, I believe that's Dane Dunning, I would imagine. But they're going to have those guys step up. Montgomery, has been solid, so not surprised to see what he did today. But with the Rangers bats, I mean, you can't play around with these bats. So taking a look here, let's go here to the for the box scores for the pitching. Now, Tyler Glasnow, he was looking really good at one point. Really good. I mean, his stuff did look good. But he ran into some trouble there. The defense did not help him out, so let's kind of say that as well. He did give up 3 earned at the end of the day, but the Rays, they just couldn't get anything going off of Montgomery. When Chapman came in, I feel like the Rays fans, they got a little excited. All right, Chapman's coming in. We've done some damage against Chapman in the past, but nothing going there. Chapman looked good. I think Chapman, take him out of that late inning role. Like that closer role. I think Chapman actually is fine. There's something, I don't know what it is. Like, there's something about him closing out games. It just doesn't really work. I don't know. But in the end, hey, Ray's bullpen did look good today. I mean, they did give up, when Glasnow came out. But that wasn't on the relief pitching, though. That was on Jose Siri. That was that one bad play that he had out there. Jose Siri, the thing with him is he has actually been a good defensive player this year. Pretty underrated player. He has been pretty solid, but that was just rough. Like, that play, he had a bit of a bounce on the ball that came to him there. Then he coughed it up a little bit, but he didn't recover enough. But then he just made this horrible throw, and I feel like after that ball sailed over the third baseman, I feel like that's when everything just deflated with the Rays. So, in the end, story of this game was Montgomery, but the Rays just, I'm not saying the Rays lost this game, but they didn't do themselves any favors at all. They have to play better defensively. I would expect they're going to come out here tomorrow and they're going to play a better game. I feel like the Rays are one of those teams that can bounce back. And then, with how Nathan Eovaldi has been as of late, he has not been great. I mean, we'll just pull up the numbers here. I do like me some Zach Eflin. Hey, Central Florida guy. Hey, I'm always going to be on Zach Eflin's side. Why can't the Red Sox pick up someone like Zach Eflin? I don't know. They got beat out by the Rays in the offseason. Makes me sick. But Nathan Eovaldi, I love the signing for the Rangers when it first happened. But, he's always had problems with the injuries. He's always had those issues. But lately, he's been getting shelled, right? If you take a look here, had a horrible start against the Mariners over the final weekend. 7 earned, 3 1/3. Go again. The Mariners just had his number in the last 2 starts. 7 earned there, 5 earned there. Against my Red Sox, he was pretty solid. 3 earned there. He just wasn't really able to go deep. I know he was kind of working back on the pitch count a little bit, so I'm not going to really get on to him about those. But there has been some starts where he doesn't get out of the 5th inning, doesn't get out of the 6th inning. But we need to get Nathan Eovaldi back to these kind of numbers down here, right? Complete game. That's the Pirates. But look at, the start against the Braves. This is a start that I would like to see from Nathan Eovaldi, right? 7 innings, give up a couple runs, 5 hits allowed. This is the Nathan Eovaldi that I like right here against a good lineup with the Braves. I want to see this kind of a start. But, those starts against the Mariners, is that more of a familiarity kind of a thing with them? Mariners, they were playing with some urgency there in the last week, but so are the Rangers. So I'm in a wait-and-see mode with Eovaldi. However, with Eflin, I have loved Eflin this year. I think he's been fantastic. What a great pickup for them. Their richest free agent in history. I like Eflin here. I do. I just think he's been really solid for them. He's avoided the injury bug this year. Every start he has, it's just solid, right? Gave up 3 here against the Red Sox. Couple against the Angels, had the 10 Ks. Baltimore, he looked really good against Baltimore there back on September 15th. 7 innings, had an earned run, 8 Ks. I like Eflin tomorrow. I do. And with the Rangers, has he had a start against them this year? I don't think so. No, he has not had a start against the Rangers this year. So that's a new guy that they're not used to seeing. So we'll keep that in mind. Has Eovaldi did pitch against the Rays. Had a good start against them back in July. 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned. So he actually had another start there. He did get the win. He did give up 7 hits and 4 earned. So I could see Eovaldi maybe kind of falling in between here tomorrow. 6 innings in both of the starts against the Rays. Maybe 6 innings and a couple earned. I'll go like 5 or 6 innings for Eovaldi, 3 earned. I think that sounds reasonable. I think Eflin has a chance, a good 6, maybe even 7 innings, maybe like 1 or 2 earned. So I'm going to go with Eflin and the Rays tomorrow. I think they find a way to stay alive, but the Rangers definitely have them on the ropes. For me personally, the interesting game is Game 3, right? I do think Eflin pulls out the win tomorrow, but Game 3 is going to be really interesting if it gets to that point. We'll have to see. But the key for the Rays tomorrow is they got to drive in those runs. And hey, Arozarena, he did look pretty good today. I'll give him that. I had a couple of hits there, and hey, they just need these other guys to step up. Paredes had a hit there, but no one else was coming through for them. So let's see if they can do a little bit better against Eovaldi, who they have seen a couple of times. So moving on here, let me get to those super chats, catching up before I go over the last game of the night. 243 people. Everyone, thank you for stopping by. If you can, hit the like button for me. Share the show if you can. I'm going to wrap things up here pretty quickly. I want people to come back and watch the post game if they weren't able to get here live. But let's get to a couple super chats. We had Jimmy Productions, $4.99. Yes, you were right about the jerseys. The Nationals weren't doing good in their white and grays. Oh, yeah, they were another one. They switched jerseys. So I'm telling you, man, new jerseys, this is what the Angels need to do. The Angels, they need to kind of rebuild for a couple of years. And they need to, I think the Angels, they need to go with a jersey that's like their modern jerseys, but also a throwback to those awesome jerseys that they used to have in the 90s, right? They need a mix between those two. Get a fresh jersey, fresh uniform. I think the Angels will be good as new. But Jimmy, thank you for that one. You had another one here, $1.99, afternoon game on a Tuesday. Yeah, Jimmy, I'm sorry. I don't see the argument there because there's been many afternoon games in the past as well during the week, and they have been there have been plenty of sellout games during the week in the day. Jacob Toon, $9.99 super chat. One of our loyal members, Jacob Toon. Hey, Jacob Toon, you got the Babe Ruth logo. I love that. One of our moderators, too. Zero reason for that crowd. The tickets were that's another thing. Great point, Jacob Toon. Great point. How much was it to get into that game today? What was it like? What was the get-in price? I feel like Nightingale had tweeted about that. Nightingale ticket prices. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull up the tweet. I mean, I feel like the Rays, the get-in price had to be not that big. Not even more than $30. Yeah, for the Rays, I have it here. Here we go. Here was the tweet. Wait, no, that's not it. Sorry. I do see the number. But it's on Reddit. I'm not going to pull up Reddit. But the get-in price for the game today was $33. That's not bad. It's not bad. For the Twins, it was $7 to get into the game. So I will give them that. But sorry, for the Rays, listen, That's what you have to do, man. You should have made your prices like $20. $20 to get into the game. 33, people are going to be like, $33, then you got to pay, for, hot dog, food, beer, whatever. And people are going to be like, They should have done what the Twins did today. The Twins made it $7 to get into the game today because that's what people worry about. It's not the tickets. It's paying for the food, right? Paying for the parking. It's when it all adds up. So, hey, Tampa, take some notes here. Make your get-in price maybe like $15, honestly. You want people to come to the games? Sorry, you got to lower those prices, man. You have trouble getting these people in. So, for the Twins, good call for them. But Jacob Toon, that was a great point you made. If I wasn't on the Space Coast, I would have gone to the game. Disappointed in my city. Yeah, it's... I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say. I just can't support the argument, right, that, it's a day game, right? Sorry, there's been thousands of day games, hundreds of day games, sellout crowds. Here we go. Let's move on here. Final game. This one ended earlier. Here we go. We got the Diamondbacks and the Brewers. And listen, Diamondbacks stole this one. Absolute steal. Absolute steal for the Diamondbacks. Wow. Coming in to Milwaukee. Milwaukee had the lead there. Diamondbacks, or actually, did they have the lead? I feel like, Milwaukee had a 3-0 lead at one point, and the Diamondbacks just came on back. You had Burns on the mound. You had a 3-0 lead. Just robbery. Highway robbery from the Diamondbacks, and their offense really came through. And honestly, everyone, if you go, prior to the game, you had Fott start this game. People were like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you starting Fott in this game? This guy's numbers are terrible. Why are you not starting Zach Gallen? Why are you not going, why didn't you line up your pitching to have, Gallen start this one? Or even Kelly." They went with Fott, and wow, that was a gamble. It paid off big time. Huge. And taking a look here. And let me actually refresh this. Here we go. So now the Diamondbacks got the Brewers on the ropes. And, hey, big move for the Diamondbacks there. They took a gamble, and that really paid off. So now you got Gallen. Here's the thing with the Diamondbacks. If they win tomorrow, if they get that game as well, if they win game 2, listen, Kelly, to me, Kelly is not, in my opinion, your prototypical playoff pitcher. I like swing and miss guys in the playoffs. I like guys with the velocity. I like guys with the stuff. That's why I wasn't too low on Fott for today, because this is a guy that can get the swing and misses. Don't think he hasn't put it all together yet. I think Fott is going to be really good in the future. And honestly, I think with the way he did battle today, I think that showed a lot of promise. What can you expect? He's a rookie, but he's got good stuff. I think he's going to be good in the future. But those are the kind of guys that I think can succeed in the playoffs, right? You get the swing and misses. You avoid the bats. And Kelly, he's not that starter that I like in the postseason. But I am okay with him for a game 1 instead of, just whoever else. I'd rather go with Kelly, for game 1. So in the end, I think the Diamondbacks have really set themselves up here for a lot of success. Again, the gamble really paid off. Burns really, I'm sorry, but Burns blew this one. Burns absolutely blew this one. Listen, I have hated on the Brewers all year, and they started looking a little better in the second half. They did. The pitching was really good in the second half. But then you lost Woodruff, and all of a sudden, it just felt like the Brewers' sails got just taken out, right? And then Burns has not been the same guy. He has not been the same Corbin Burns that we've seen in the past. I remember coming into this year, I remember looking at Corbin Burns. And again, not a bad year from Burns. A good year overall. But not the Corbin Burns that we've seen over the last 3 years. And still, though, I still thought he was very capable of coming through here today. He blew it. Absolutely blew it. Peralta has been great in the second half. So that is going to be big. That's going to be a big start for him. He's getting a lot of strikeouts. I could see the Brewers winning game 2. It's going to be tough against Gallen because Gallen has also been one of the better pitchers. But before I do move on to game 2, let's kind of just go over the offense here. I mean, the Diamondbacks really came through. Obviously getting the big knock there in the end from Christian Walker coming through. Just kind of taking a look here, with the double there, in the 9th, really separating that lead. Gabriel Moreno, he kind of really just set the tone. Blue Jays fans are just crying everywhere. Gabriel Moreno homering in the playoffs while they lose a playoff game. Ketel Marte, this is a guy who I think has been underrated this year. Go back to my underrated players video that I did a couple of weeks ago. I could tell Marte is my most underrated player for the Diamondbacks. He's been really good this year. Corbin Carroll, just a star. Corbin Carroll is fantastic, and this is the stage for him. In the end, though, I just think the Gabriel Moreno homer, it was still close, but it almost felt like, I don't know, you felt really good about the Dbacks there. But then Walker comes in, the big knock, getting a couple RBIs there, and that sealed the deal. Walker's been awesome this year. But hey, this is what you want from the Diamondbacks offense. They did not have a good offense down the last few weeks going into September and down the stretch. They were struggling to score some runs, and this is what they needed to do today. So especially the fact that you were going up against Corbin Burnes, a lot of credit to the Arizona Diamondbacks here. But for game 2, I do like Peralta. I do, but I also really like Gallen. And I think the Brewers just really shot themselves in the foot. I think Burnes just cost them their season. I really do. Going to Peralta here, let's take a look at how he's been doing. They kept his pitch count pretty limited in the last start against the Marlins, but before that, he was turning in just dandies. So it's tough. It's tough. Gallen, he did struggle a little bit in the last couple of starts. So taking a look there, I think the Astros really took it to him. I wouldn't say they took it to him, but they were hitting him a bit. But he ended up getting the loss there. He only gave up the 2 earned. He looked great against the Yankees. Had a couple of bad ones against the Giants and the Mets there. Looked great against the Cubs. Had that complete game shutout. I'm not sure what Zach Gallen you're going to get tomorrow. I'm a little curious. I don't know. I'm very intrigued with how he's going to do. If you take a look with how he's done this year against Milwaukee, has he had a start against Milwaukee this year? He did have 1 start against Milwaukee earlier. Or no, he had one right here. Sorry. Go back to June. He has pitched very well against Milwaukee. 7 innings, 1 earned back on June 21st. And then against Milwaukee on April 10th, he had 11 Ks. So, I don't know. I mean, Milwaukee's offense, it's not great. I don't know. I think you got to go Gallen. I think you have to go the Diamondbacks here. I think the Brewers' shot at this series was if they won game 1. No one expected the D-backs to win this one with Fott on the mound, but they figured it out. The bullpen was huge today. Huge day for the bullpen. I mean, Mantiply came in, got it done. Castro, they used a lot of their bullpen. So they are going to need Gallen to really come through. So they're going to need a good start out of him because they used a lot of guys in this bullpen today. I think for me personally, I'm going to go Diamondbacks. I'm sorry. I like Peralta, but the Brewers offense, it's been just, I don't know, to me, below average at best. And with Gallen, with the success he's had against them this year, doesn't sound like a good matchup. I don't know. I'll go Diamondbacks for tomorrow. I think the only way the Brewers really get this win, I think Peralta's going to have to be lights out. I think the Brewers offense, I don't trust them against Gallen. I just don't. So I'll go Diamondbacks winning this in game 2 and then moving on. The Brewers, I picked them, thought about switching it up, but I figured Burnes and Peralta would be enough. Hey, in the end, Diamondbacks looking great. Looking great. Everyone, before I do go, listen, everyone, tonight's sponsor is Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code Hyde. Link is in the description down below. Use that code at sign up. You get a double on your first deposit up to $100. Everyone, please look at this. Look at this. I almost won $500 tonight. Look, I was this close to winning $500 tonight. I made 5 picks. I went with Pablo Lopez. I thought Pablo Lopez could have a good start today, but I didn't expect him to be this many or get this many fantasy points. He finished just under it, so I was dead on with that. Glasnow, I thought would rack up the Ks. He got just enough today. He got 8 strikeouts. Randy Rosarena, this guy's always balling out in the postseason. He did well like I thought he would. But look how close I was to winning $500. Brandon Pfaadt, he needed he needed 5 Ks. He got 4. I was so angry when he got Donaldson to pop up. I was begging him to get the strikeout. It was a full count. I'm like, please get this strikeout. And Luzardo, he needed 6 Ks. He got 5. I can't believe it. I was 2 strikeouts away from $500. I don't know. But go try it out. Hey, playoff baseball. It's all the rage right now on Underdog. Again, the link is in the description. Go try it out for yourselves. You don't have to make 5 picks. You can go make 2 picks if you want. The more picks you make, 4 pick'ems, you can pick up to 5. You don't have to make 5, but the more picks you make, the more money you can win. But as always, please, if you are going to play Underdog Fantasy or any sports betting game to that matter, please play responsibly. Don't go crazy. Just have some fun with it. Play within your means. But you all see how close I was to winning $500. So, everyone, let me just get caught up here. Last couple of super chats. Jimmy Productions. Yes, I'm getting to those. Jimmy Productions, $4.99. I would hate it if Mike Trout went to the Phillies or Mets. He needs to go to a big city, large market with a great fan base. The Red Sox make sense. I mean, that bat at Fenway Park would be fantastic. I just feel like he doesn't really fit right now. I feel like the Red Sox probably are not going to want to take on that contract and add it to their payroll. I don't know. I just feel like right now, he's not the best. It sounds crazy saying Mike Trout's not a fit. I would love Mike Trout. Don't get me wrong. If they got Trout, I would be doing cartwheels. But I think with the Red Sox, it doesn't seem like a guy they would really go after. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Jimmy Productions had another one. Robbie, would you like the Red Sox to go after Brad Ausmus as their general manager? Remember, he was a finalist for the Astros job. What other teams get him? Personally, right now, I'd be okay, with someone like a Sam Fold, who's been with Dave Dombrowski. He's seen how Dave Dombrowski likes to wheel and deal. I could see that. He's been under his tutelage for the last couple of years. I wouldn't mind Sam Fold. He's a New England guy, smart player. I wouldn't mind him. You got Hazen with the Diamondbacks. He has the familiarity with the Red Sox. Obviously, he was with them for a long time. I feel like with the Diamondbacks, it's almost like they're having all this success and they're finally starting to come through. I feel like it's almost weird if he leaves. Like I would think that's I understand the Red Sox, it's the Red Sox, but it seems like weird timing to leave the Diamondbacks, especially when it seems like they're just getting into their competitive window. And the owner has already said too that he wants him to stay around. And then, you got Antonetti with the Guardians. Are they going into a new phase where he has shown what he can do with that small payroll there? What can he do with a bigger payroll? Is he more along the lines of kind of like what Hyde Bloom is, like that low payroll, analytical kind of a guy? I think he probably is Hyde Bloom and more. But I wouldn't mind someone like him. He's shown tons of success with Cleveland. Wouldn't mind that. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I think one of those 3 guys. You got a couple of guys over there with the Dodgers. You got Josh Burns out there. Used to be with the Red Sox, and with the Dodgers, he's seen what they can do with the large payroll and also all the player development that they've had. You were hearing a lot about Gomes there for a while, but I feel like that went quiet. It's interesting. The Red Sox, very intrigued to see what they do. Jimmy Productions, yes, one more. Yes, I saw the Super Chats. I just got caught up. Everyone, thank you for stopping by. A successful first night of wildcard wrap-ups. If you can, on the way out, hit that like button for me. That's going to help this get out into the algorithm. Subscribe if you are new. Share the show. Everyone, I'm going live after all of these postseason games. Once they're done at the end of the night, I will be live here. So make sure, again, you are hitting that bell. That way you know I'm live. So everyone, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for everyone tuning into the chat and choosing me as your post-game guy for the playoffs. So we'll be live here every single night, everyone. So make sure you're here. Everyone, have a great night. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have yourself a good night. I'll talk to you next time.